There's a place in the Nevada desert so secret, so fiercely guarded that for decades the United States government refused to admit it even existed. A place where the laws of ordinary aviation seemed to break down, where people reported blazing objects streaking across the sky at impossible speeds, objects that moved like nothing built by human hands. A place where the truth was stranger than any conspiracy theory. This is the real story of Area 51. It is 1955. The Cold War is no longer just a war of words. The Soviet Union has nuclear weapons, and Washington is desperate. Desperate to know where they are, how many there are, and when they might be used. The CIA needs eyes over the USSR, but no conventional aircraft can fly high enough or fast enough to penetrate Soviet airspace undetected. What they need is something that has never existed before. Deep in the Mojave Desert, roughly 100 miles northwest of Las Vegas, the government quietly acquires a stretch of land so remote, so desolate, that almost no one knows it's there. It sits beside a dry lake bed called Groom Lake, a vast, flat expanse of cracked earth baking under the Nevada sun. They call it Paradise Ranch, not because it's paradise, but because they need the scientists and engineers they're recruiting to actually show up. What gets built there changes the world. The U-2 spy plane, a long-winged silver aircraft designed to soar above 60,000 feet, takes its first test flight from Groom Lake on August 4, 1955. It can photograph Soviet military installations from the edge of the stratosphere, so high that it can't be reached by any fighter jet, so high that it looks to the naked eye below like nothing of this earth. And that is exactly the problem. Commercial airliners in the mid-1950s fly between 10 and 20,000 feet. Military aircraft top out at 40,000. When the silver wings of a U-2 catch the last light of the setting sun at 60,000 feet, while the ground below is already lost in shadow, pilots, air traffic controllers, and ordinary Americans look up and see something they cannot explain. Something glowing, something fast, something not of this world. The UFO reports begin flooding in almost immediately. The government knows exactly what those objects are, but they cannot say so. Admitting the U-2 exists would expose one of the most sensitive intelligence programs in American history and give the Soviets a roadmap to shoot it down. So the Air Force falls back on a cover story: weather balloons, metal equipment malfunctions, atmospheric phenomena. A CIA report would later confirm that U-2 and OXCART flights accounted for more than half of all UFO reports in the late 1950s and throughout the 1960s. They didn't just fail to deny the UFO mythology, they quietly let it grow, because a nation obsessed with little green men wasn't looking at spy planes. Then came the A-12 OXCART, the U-2's successor, a titanium dart capable of sustaining Mach 3.2, nearly 2,500 miles per hour at 90,000 feet, an aircraft so far ahead of its time that when it first arrived at Area 51 in February of 1962, it was disassembled in a factory in Burbank, California, loaded onto a specially designed trailer and driven through the desert in the dead of night. No one could know it existed, no one could see it, and no one was allowed to ask. For years, the United States government didn't just keep Area 51 classified, they denied it existed at all. Presidents refused to acknowledge it, maps omitted it. Workers who built and tested history's most advanced aircraft there signed secrecy agreements so absolute they couldn't tell their own families where they went to work each morning. It wasn't until 2013, nearly 60 years after that first U-2 test flight, that the CIA finally, formally, officially confirmed what everyone had suspected. Area 51 is real. It is there, marked on a map, acknowledged at last. The documents that emerged told the story of spy planes and Cold War secrets, and a government willing to fuel one of history's greatest conspiracy theories rather than reveal the truth about its most classified programs. No aliens, no flying saucers, no crashed spacecraft in secret hangars, just human beings pushing the absolute edge of what was possible, building machines that defied imagination